Nokia and Android has been a pipe dream that geeks and avid smartphone users have held out for years now. That we'd actually see one in 2014 at the cusp of the Nokia-Microsoft merger is not something we'd expected in our wildest dreams. That said, the phone was announced alongside two other devices, that is the Nokia X Plus and the XL, at MWC last month, and it is now available in retail. Follow through as we bring you our video review of the Nokia X. Before we get into the inevitable software teardown, let's start off with a quick hardware overview. Without a doubt, the Nokia X is the best looking device available anywhere close to its price point. With a design that brings influences from both the Asha and the Lumia side of things, we're very impressed by what Nokia has been able to achieve at this price point. The front side of the phone has a 4-inch display with black bezels. Replacing the 3 buttons seen below Android devices is a single capacitive back key. Above the display is where you'll find an earpiece and a proximity sensor. The top of the phone has a 3.5mm audio jack, while the micro USB port is placed at the bottom. The power and the lock key is on the right hand side, alongside the volume rocker. The tactile feedback from all the keys is satisfactory enough. Moving over to the back of the phone, you can spot the clean and minimal polycarbonate rear panel. The phone ships in a range of vibrant and not so vibrant colors, including green, white, black, yellow, red and cyan. Since the rear panel is removable, you should be able to switch them out. Under the rear panel is the microSD card slot, the battery and the 2 SIM card slots. The phone measures 115.5 by 63 by 10.5 millimeters, and the Nokia X is quite diminutive. It fits very well in the hand. The light 128.7 grams weight also makes it very easy to slip into your pocket and forget. There's no doubting the fact that the Nokia X is a fantastic looking phone with a lot of focus on construction quality. Technically speaking, the Nokia X runs Android. The version of Android on board is 4.1.2, but that said, it is unlike any Android device you would have used so far. What you do get is Nokia X Software Platform 1.0, which is an Android fork focusing on Microsoft's cloud services and with no sign of any Google service at all. You cannot install apps that are dependent on the Google Play Services framework, but you'll get fairly robust OneDrive integration, as well as support for hair maps and of course Nokia Mix Radio. The built-in Nokia exclusive apps bring along most of the functionality from their Windows Phone counterparts. The apps, however, have put some restrictions keeping in mind the lower end placement of the handset. Hair Maps on the Nokia X offers voice-guided turn-by-turn navigation only in one country or region of your choice. Similarly, Mix Radio places restrictions on the number of offline mixes you can have. The basic interface of the phone is divided into 2 sections. There's the home screen that is a single scrollable pane of icons and widgets. Swiping towards the right unveils the fast lane notification and multitasking system. And that's it. Nokia has eschewed most of Android's UI centricities for a system that is so simple that it borders on lacking functionality for the above average user. If you've seen the Nokia N9, the lock screen will be very familiar for you. The time and date are displayed over on the top. Below are where notifications pop up from your text messages and social interactions. You can then interact with these. Being an Android device, it of course has a drop-down notification bar that unfortunately does not display notifications, and instead you are left with quick toggles for settings, which makes the interface appear more Asha and less Android. Swiping to the right from the home screen brings us to the fast lane interface. This is the only way to access notifications and multitask between applications. You'll get a listing of your recent events, apps used, and also any pending applications updated. We're not entirely convinced by this UI decision. Fastlane requires stepping out of whatever app you're currently in, swiping over, and then figuring out your next step of actions. This is counterproductive compared to a standard drop-down notification hub which can be accessed from everywhere. When talking about software, the Nokia X is a very polarizing device. While technically it does run Android, this implementation is far from what people expected when asking for a Nokia device running Android. It might suffice for first-time users, but a power user's phone this is not. Powering the Nokia X is a 1GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon S4 Play dual-core CPU with Adreno 203 graphics. This being the absolute base model amongst the 3 devices launched by Nokia, you get a woeful 512MB of RAM and 4GB of storage. You also get a microSD card slot to expand that storage. Real-life performance is a mixed bag. The interface is smooth enough for the most part, though there are occasional lags while just scrolling through. We also noticed that the Fastlane launcher has a tendency to crash when juggling between heavy applications. Apps take a second or two to start up, and heavy apps take longer still. The browsing experience is really not that good either due to the combination of a low resolution display, anemic processor, and very limited RAM. It is safe to say that the Nokia X is anything but a powerhouse, but it gets the job done. The display on the X is a 4-inch LCD panel. With a resolution of 800 by 480, the pixel density at 233 ppi isn't particularly impressive. Pixelation is not hard to spot either. While colors are generally accurate, viewing angles are not that great and the contrast ratio too leaves a lot to be desired. The screen is also extremely prone to fingerprints, and the brightness levels aren't high enough to guarantee good outdoor visibility. The Nokia X has a 3-megapixel fixed focus camera that gives a new meaning to low quality images. We were quite disappointed by the choice of camera hardware here. Image quality is what you'd expect from such hardware. Shots in brightly lit conditions are possible with decent color reproduction, though the dynamic range leaves a fair bit to be desired. The lack of autofocus means that close-up shots are out of the question, and you'll have to be very careful while framing your images, as anything too close or too far will be out of focus. Connectivity options on both the Nokia X include Wi-Fi, 3G, Bluetooth 3.0, GPS, FM radio, and dual SIM support. The dual SIM support is fairly robust, and you get the whole host of options you'd expect, including setting a specific SIM as your data SIM and the other one as your default calling SIM. 3G is supported only on SIM 1. There's a 1500 mAh battery unit powering the show here. In day-to-day usage, it is possible to get about a day of work out of the battery. Heavy usage will mean that you'll probably have to top off in the evening. All said and done, you'll definitely have to charge your Nokia X overnight. The Nokia X is clearly meant for first-time smartphone buyers and people who want a simpler and hassle-free device on hand. It brings the simplicity of Nokia's Asha device on board with smarter functionality and a whole host of applications. It brings the simplicity of Nokia's Asha device with smarter functionality and the entire Android application ecosystem on board. If your need is a budget Android device, then the Nokia X is probably not what you should be looking at. The Nokia X is more for users that want a device with smart capabilities, solid construction, and a straightforward interface. Nokia's mapping and music services further sweeten this deal. While the camera turned out to be a disappointment, generally the Nokia X proves to be a very capable device if you fall within its target audience. The X is priced at Rs 8,599. If you enjoyed the video, please do hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.